From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. AccuWeather meteorologists are warning that the stormy pattern is ramping up across the central and eastern United States this week, while the first significant push of rain, snow, and ice continued to advance eastward across the nation through today. A secondary round of active weather is expected to follow in quick succession this weekend. Behind the initial midweek storm, cold air is expected to sweep southward from Canada, with temperatures dropping anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees lower than the midweek period. Many locations across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast will feature a roller coaster of temperature rises and falls. Most cities like Indianapolis, Detroit, and Columbus will observe a brief dry period today as a zone of high pressure glides across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and interior Northeast, but it will not last long. The next weather maker will become more organized across the plains and shift into the Ohio Valley through tonight, spreading a swath of rain along the southern flank with a corridor of ice and snow on the northern edges. Since the storms this week are affecting similar regions in such close succession, the impacts of this weekend storm could double down and potentially be worse than the initial midweek storm. Road crews cleaning up the initial round of snow and treating pavement for ice could become strained, especially due to the timing of this second storm, prompting many to work throughout the weekend. A wave of accumulating snow will spread from the Dakotas through the Great Lakes and northern New England from tonight through Sunday, potentially reaching areas farther south compared to the midweek round of snow. A corridor of sleet and freezing rain is expected to develop from Iowa to the New England coast later this week, with concerns that notable ice accretions could potentially be more widespread than the initial round during the midweek period. Icing amounts above 1/4 of an inch on tree limbs, power lines, roadways, and sidewalks can be dangerous. Power outages are most likely to occur where the ice accumulations are most significant, from the upper Ohio Valley through parts of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. The persistent cold that gripped much of the country throughout January, as well as a storm that produced unprecedented snow to parts of the Gulf Coast with a suppressed storm track, is now more centered across western and central Canada into the northern Rockies and the northern plains. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Joe Lundberg said that each time a storm moves through the pattern, a piece of Arctic air is drawn south and east, only for the next storm in the pattern to come along. As warmer air tries to move the low-level cold out of the way, it leads to snow, ice, and rain. And such will be the case with the storm this weekend from the central plains to the northeast. Forecasters noted that looking into next week, another winter storm can develop across the central and eastern states. Turning our gaze skyward now, social media has been abuzz about the ongoing alignment of planets, with Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn stretching across the sky on a nightly basis, and soon Mercury will join the parade. However, the celestial show will not be as captivating as some headlines might suggest. 6 planets have been visible on cloud-free nights since January, with Mercury being the only planet missing. But the fanfare has come with a catch. Uranus and Neptune are visible only with a telescope, meaning most people have been able to see only Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. Mercury will show up near the bottom of the planetary parade during the final nights of February, making it possible for those looking skyward with the right equipment and viewing location to see 7 planets in one night. The challenge will be Mercury, which will be extremely low in the western sky, barely above the horizon, about a half hour to an hour after sunset. Additionally, Saturn will be setting earlier and earlier with each passing night, and by the final nights of February will be dipping below the horizon before the sky is dark enough to spot the planet. Now, why is this planetary alignment happening? Well, the planets may appear to fall in line across the night sky, but in reality, they are millions of miles apart, obviously. The reason why they appear in the sky at the same time is that they are all on the same side of the sun from the perspective of Earth. So, while 7 planets will technically be above the horizon at the same time in late February, the majority of onlookers will only be able to spot Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. That's all for now. You can find more stories and regional forecasts at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.